Hello, everybody. This is GT Time, and I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman. And joining us, as always, is our uniquely talented and knowledgeable panel, including Brandon Jones.
Howdy.
Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
And in the super seat this week, Elise Willems.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. That's my Dee from Always Sunny impression when she goes to do stand-up. She goes, howdy, howdy, howdy.
And so, why did you choose to steal that from her?
Because I'm a joke thief.
Oh, okay.
I'm a regular, what's his face? Carlos Mencia.
I like the howdy, howdy, howdy from the Toy Story.
Would you say that there's a snake in your booth right now?
Oh, totally. So that was Ian, by the way. Hello, Ian. Thanks for joining us.
Show yourself.
Yeah,
Ian
hi.
Hink. Should I
Hi.
should he be part of the rotation? Should the intro include Ian from ever now?
No, I think it's better if he
probably
just pops
not.
in.
Okay, all right.
Probably.
I'm sorry,
Probably
Ian.
for the best. We don't see him.
He can introduce
Sure.
himself. It's like, hey.
He is uniquely knowledgeable,
I'm
but
alright.
not in the same way.
Yeah, all right. It is Carlos Mencia. That was correct. So, Elise, we're going to start a new round of corrections. Sorry, a new round of questions for the person in the super seat. You are the first person to receive this question.
Cool.
What was the last time you made a big mistake, and what did you learn from it?
So last week, I came home from work.
Yeah.
I went into the fridge, and I grabbed one. Got some garlic butter.
I'm sorry, I grabbed one what?
Steak. Got some garlic butter. Heated up the frying pan. I like to cook it at a low heat. Just cook evenly through. Sauteed some mushrooms with it. It was delicious. So I guess I learned I make a good steak.
Okay, so I said last time you made a big mistake.
Oh, I heard that wrong.
So this was it. That was, Elise, what did you learn? What did you learn from what just happened today?
Don't make weird, silly, pre-planned jokes for GT time that are gonna fall flat.
I've been there. I've experienced that many times.
Is a mistake like Miss Pac-Man?
Yes.
So like you got steak and then
And
mistake.
Yeah.
the only differentiating
You have to
factor
put a
is like
bow.
a couple of boots and a bow, yeah.
That wasn't a serious answer.
Also a more developed story. Miss Pac-Man had a story.
Yeah?
Actually, like cutscenes. Did Pac-Man not get cutscenes?
No,
I
dude.
don't remember. Huh?
I don't think
Isn't
so.
that cool?
Did she have a story that was independent of her being Miss Pac-Man?
Unfortunately not. It's just about her falling in love with Pac-Man.
Oh, that's too bad.
Should we talk about that for an hour?
Yeah.
Let's talk about corrections. Let's get to everybody's favorite moment of the show. Straight off the bat, begin corrections music. First of all, so in the world of Metal Gear Solid, the way that Lolly Lule Lo works is that it's not the nanomachines making people say Lolly Lule Lo. They just say Lolly Lule Lo to get around the fact that they can't say Patriots. So it's like, fine, we can't say Patriots, we'll just say Lolly Lule Lo.
But you have to recognize the flaw there.
What?
Which I'm repeating
What?
myself from last week.
Okay,
You
what?
don't understand. Are you saying that so I can explain it for our viewers, or do you legitimately do not understand the flaw?
I think this perfectly makes sense.
Do you not understand the flaw?
Well, how would you know if
Okay.
you can never say Patriots?
There are three parties.
Okay.
There's Kyle, Brandon, and Blood.
Okay.
Blood's playing the game.
Yes.
You are Kyle, I am Brandon.
All right.
I say to you, hey, have you heard about the Patriots?
I'm sorry, are we in the game?
Yes, we are
Okay.
characters in the game.
Great.
I say to you, Kyle, hey, have you heard about the Patriots? And you reply to me, what do you mean, lolly lule lo?
I haven't. No, you did. Sorry, the premise is already off. You cannot say the word Patriots.
But they do.
Who does?
In the game.
No.
They do.
Uh-uh.
Characters say Patriots. And then people reply to them by huh? What do you mean, lolly lule lo? And it's like, oh, you heard something different because I said it. Then why did Blood, the player, hear Patriots? Because it was never said by anyone at any time.
I guess that's a question for Blood. Blood, why did you hear the word Patriots?
You guys are gonna have to correct this
Oh
correction.
no, I know.
this is
Once
never
Brandon
gonna work.
started, I'm saying this will never end.
I will let the correction stand.
Okay.
That is the way it is perceived in Metal Gear lore. But it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
That's it.
I think it
That's
makes
my
perfect
correction
sense.
that it doesn't make sense.
Next correction. We got to settle this whole Nintendo DS code name situation. Blood got into a real tussle in the comments last week about this. Blood, can you tell us what the deal is?
Well, I mean, I think it's just a matter of whether you're talking about a working title or a code name. And
Okay.
The code name is the development name that's how people talk about it, so nobody knows what they're talking about or whatever. And it probably like it gets started like before they've even determined like what the system's features are going to be. So for the DS, that code name was Nitro. And I think the way that like it was kind of reported was a little weird because I think what happened was we had already heard the word Nintendo DS from like investors meetings or announcements or something like that.
Much like we heard Nintendo NX last week.
Right.
Yes.
But then when the developer support site, the WarioWare.com or whatever it is, got updated, it had a section in there for Nitro developers. And so people thought that Nitro became the new name for the Nintendo DS at that point.
Including yourself.
No, not necessarily. I don't remember at the point. I mean, it was like, what, 12, 15 years ago, something like that?
It was a while ago.
Not 15, but anyways. So there was a little back and forth with like what Nitro was, but I mean, Nitro was probably the name that existed maybe even before they came up with the idea of doing dual screens.
I guess, Blood, what I'm demanding here is the context of this correction was last week I said, in regards to the NX, Matt said, what if that's the actual name that it ships with? And I said, yeah, that's what happened with the DS. And you said, no, that's not what happened. So to end the corrections music finally, Blood, will you please apologize to me?
No, I'd have to watch over the thing again.
End corrections music. Okay, so let's get around to news. Man, there are some weeks where there's too much news to talk about, and I'm like concerned, and we don't get through all the pages, we don't get through everything. This is not one of those weeks. This is what we call in the biz a slow news week.
Yeah, if mandatory update's bad this week, blame it on the news.
Monster Hunter coming to a theme park near you.
We're not even, I don't want to talk about that. What is that? That's just dumb, like that's us eating into like the weird promotional cycle of video games news. Do you know what I mean? If we report on that, even if we make fun of it, like we're just doing everything Capcom wants.
You've always been anti-roller coaster. Sorry, go Ian.
Isn't all video game news just PR?
Yes, wait
More
till
or
our
less.
next story. Here we go. Here's our news story. Here's our big news, everybody. God of War 3 Remastered has been announced. Just doing our jobs as video game PR people, aren't we? So that's our big news. That's what we're leading off.
You love game announcements. You said that. It's like your favorite thing in the world. You're like, if I could start every
It
GT
is.
time with a game announcement, like there isn't a new game announced every week, which there is.
Right.
So
So
you could open every GT time with a game announcement if you really wanted to.
my serious question, Brandon, to open this, is that a big announcement?
No.
Why?
Because it's a singular game, because it's a game that it just doesn't, like from what I saw, it doesn't look all that different. Like I can't really discern what's happening. Like if you up-res a game, I need to start really slowly on the footage and like to really tell like, oh, the shadows and the textures and everything. And like it's just such a crazy, fast, nuts game. And it looked already amazing on the PlayStation 3.
And that
So-
first thing you touched on is singular game is the thing I've seen pop up a lot, is that people are now disappointed, probably because of Master Chief Collection. And I mean, even a God of War Collection last generation. If it's only one game, it seems not worth it to people. Do you think that's a wide perception?
It depends on the price, yeah, and it depends on like what's going into it. Like if you literally just take that one game.
Actually, that would be a very interesting thing to look back on because I would guess, I'm pretty sure that the God of War trilogy and God of War collection were each $60, and they included God of War 3, and now you're gonna buy God of War 3 again by itself for $60. I'm not sure if that's the actual pricing on it. Maybe it's
I think
not.
it's 40. It's
I
40
think they
were- 40?
Yeah.
I don't think they were 60 at the time. I think they may have been 40. Or in Canada,
Yeah,
they were 40.
Right.
we need a price checker.
But anyway, this is God of War
Where's
3
Kmart?
remastered for $40. It seems like less of a value. You got to use that word value. Who is excited about this? Who's the person?
People that can't have a PS3 sitting around, I guess.
I think that like if you are really stretched for games on your PS4 and you never played God of War 3, then yeah, you'd probably be pretty excited that you're getting a legitimate game to play on it.
No, Elise, I think that's totally worth considering because the PS4 has done very well in these first 2 years, and a lot of those people didn't own a PlayStation 3.
But that's the weird thing about there not being a collection, right? Because those games for the PS3 were made into HD. They remastered them already. Mm-hmm. It's not like, I mean, you'd have to do anything more to them. I mean, maybe people would expect that, but I think it would be a little silly to expect a PS2 game that got remastered to HD to be remastered again to the PS4. So why not just put them all on one disc?
That is unheard of. There's no PS2 games on PS4 right now. I don't think it's nothing. You know what I mean? I don't think it's just like, oh, let's just put it in our machine and then pop it out, and now it works on the PS4.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, to an extent.
There's also just not a lot going on in this franchise. There's just not a lot of other reasons to be talking about God of War and Kratos right now. So I think that's also it. That Kingdom Hearts 3 gets announced, and then we get 2 awesome bundles of all of the Kingdom Hearts games. And so you're like, oh, I've never really been into this franchise. Kingdom Hearts 3 looks awesome. I'll jump in. Borderlands, they're just kind of wrapping up the last gen stuff. So I never played 2 or pre-sequel. Sure, I'll get them both, packaged together. Whereas God of War and Kratos, especially associated with Sony and it being so exclusive, is just not something that's not in our heads all the time. It's not like, what did happen to Kratos? What have they been doing with that? Where it had been a really long time. Or if God of War 4 had been announced or something where it's like, oh yeah, now's the time to go back and play 3.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's time now because you tell us, because you're just like, oh, we're doing it now. That's just not exciting to me.
If 4 is in development, I mean, it's smart for them to put the game back into people's minds by remastering 3 and also trying to tap the audience that isn't familiar with the franchise, though doing at least the 3 main story games, at least doing those and remastering that as a bundle, to me seemed to make more sense to reach a new audience than just doing 3.
I think it might be that first thing you mentioned is just keeping it in people's minds. It's like you put out the DVDs of the last season of a show when the new season is upcoming. It's probably more like that. I'm probably, you know what I mean? This announcement from them, that remastered edition, is probably not as big as I'm blowing it up to be. It's probably just like, no, it's coming out on DVD. Don't worry about it.
What are the chances? The chances are probably fairly good that this will have some kind of brief teaser, right?
Oh, for God of War 4.
Yeah, kind of like how Type 0 HD did.
Yeah, I want to talk a lot about God of War 4, everybody. I want to talk about it.
I just have a question.
Okay.
When did the 1 and 2 remaster bundle come out in relation to 3?
Oh, I don't remember.
After 3. They came out after 3.
Yeah.
Closer to Ascension, I think.
Yeah, because there was Trilogy and then there was Collection. And I think Collection is the one that included the PSP games.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't include Ascension.
Oh my God. God of War, stop it. Stop having so many games. But, I mean, keep going. I want to talk about God of War 4. I want to do a little timeline for everybody.
Okay.
Because let's just face it. Let's be real right now. This is kind of fun in that sometimes we have to sign NDAs and we can't talk about games that we know about. There's no NDAs anyone signed about God of War 4. So we can talk about this game that we're pretty sure is happening openly because we haven't signed an NDA about it, which is really fun. So here's what happened. Here's why this is, it's not confirmed. It's not official. Here we go, though. Here's my timeline. In August of 2013, Cory Barlog, he, by the way, was the director of God of War 2. He returned to Sony Santa Monica. He says he's working on something, quote, freaking huge. Next, in October of 2013, Barlog tells Gamasutra, I want to make something that feels instantly familiar, yet completely different. Then, at the PlayStation Experience in December of 2014, at a God of War retrospective panel, Barlog just openly says, yes, we're making another God of War. So conspiracy theory over.
Fun at panels.
So then immediately after that, a tweet from Sony Santa Monica confirming that statement was deleted and then replaced with, don't tell anyone what Cory Barlog just said.
You put that in quotes. Was that literally the tweet?
That was their tweet, yep.
That's brilliant.
Don't tell anyone.
That's perfect.
To who?
Yeah.
Wait, who is that intended to?
The
Don't tell
world.
anyone.
Yeah.
Hey, world! Don't tell another planet that
Yeah.
this happened. What?
Exactly. And then at the end of the trailer for God of War 3 Remastered, when it says 10 years, that Omega symbol goes on 4 times. So, God of War 4 is happening this year for its 10th anniversary. It's happening.
The announcement might be happening. I don't know if the game's happening.
Right.
And also, those are 4 games. It's God of War 1, 2, 3, and Ascension.
Ascension doesn't count. Come on, man.
Of course it counts.
No, if you
They
count,
totally want it to
If you
count.
count Ascension, then
Yes.
you would count those 2 PSP
Right.
games.
According to Sony, they're just going to not count Ascension. Like, they're just going to be like, the Sony that made this huge epic trailer talking about that you could play this game 1 generation later, that you this game that sold really well, you probably already played. Like, they're just totally going to disregard Ascension in that regard. Like,
Brennan,
that's them teasing 4.
Yeah, and that is that to me. That's the Omegas. It's 1. That's 4. That's God of War 4. And you're saying, no, they're just counting Ascension. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything. That's insane, Brandon.
Why didn't they do 6 then?
I think it might have.
Because I really don't. I think that Ascension they consider more like with the clout of 1, 2, and 3, whereas Ghosts of Sparta and Chains of Olympus are just kind of in their own. They're in their own realm. Like, let those games do their thing. I've never played either of them.
And like they're apparently great, right?
Yeah,
Like,
they're
isn't
supposed to
that-
be some of the best games on
Yeah,
the
I've heard
system.
Ghosts of Sparta is really good.
And here we all are supposed to be. I don't think any of us played those, right?
I haven't played any of them.
Sorry, Ready at Dawn.
Foiled again.
Foiled again. I do want to. I think it's so funny the way that poor God of War 4 has been in development and like been discussed without being announced. Do you believe it's? Am I crazy, or do you? This is a thing that we should all accept at this point, right?
That it's happening?
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
For
It's not
listeners,
100% confirmed.
Brandon had a lot of hesitation on his face before he even said, "I guess."
Like, if you saw God of War 4 get announced, would you be hyped for that?
Not personally. I would be. I'm always hyped when a new game is announced. I'm always hyped when like big trailers announcements and stuff like that for it. But personally, it's not a series that like I have to return to.
I'm 100% hyped because of Cory Barlog. This guy, he knows what's up, and I'm really excited. Like, this is going to be the only game he's directed since God of War 2. He wrote a really long personal history of everything he's gone through since then. He traveled. He worked on a Mad Max game that got canceled. The poor guy, and he gets it. And I believe when he says the way he talks about the next game he wants to make. It's going to be huge. God of War 4 is going to be great.
We should totally try to get Cory Barlog on GT Live and see what we
he's
can
close
get
by.
out of him.
See, I'm sure he's not
think
doing
he'll
interviews
talk.
right now. No. Yeah, clearly he talks. Can you imagine that? Oh man, you're like one of those like PR people, and he just like says, "Yeah, we're making a new God of War game," and like everyone in the crowd cheers, and like he gets to feel that happiness. And meanwhile, you're like, "Oh, that's so selfish. I'm so mad at you." But he did it. Yeah, he just kind of flat out said it, which I think is cool. I don't mind it, to be honest.
The big thing about God of War 3 is it was the up-res of PS2. You're like, this game looks so incredible on PS2. I cannot wait to see this game in HD.
Yeah.
I am curious to see it on PlayStation 4, but like it's not like they'll finally realize their vision. That we'll finally get the God of War we've always wanted. It's like that. God of War 3 was incredible from what I saw. From the brief little bits on countdowns and other like preview
Yeah,
features.
it's like
and stuff
how do
that
you
we've
make
done.
things any bigger?
And the story was kind of like why Halo 4. I was like, okay, where it was like that story that we triumphantly concluded is back. And you're like, all right, it better be a really good reason. That's what that teaser needs to have. You need
Yeah.
to say like, who am I fighting? What else am I going up against other than Olympus? That like is
Brandon.
gonna support a brand new game on a new system or a new trilogy, which is what I'm assuming they would do.
God of War 4.
If they're playing up 4,
Yeah, you're not Kratos.
If that is what that means in that trailer, the dink,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
and this is called God of War 4,
Yeah.
then I'm assuming there's going to be a 5 and 6. They're
Yeah.
going to do another trilogy because they totally play. God of War 1 and 2 had major cliffhangers. You
Yeah.
know, both of them.
3 had a
3
cliffhanger.
I guess. I mean,
It would have happened. I don't
It
know.
was
We won't
vague,
spoil.
yeah.
No, never mind. It's coming out in remaster. Anyone who's curious enough to get the remaster, we won't talk about that. But how about in God of War 4, you're Kratos is the enemy, and you got to go kill Kratos. This huge d-bag who's mad all the time.
that would be interesting. That's a sell.
Do you think See, I kind of feel like Sony doesn't have a lot of good characters. Do you know what I mean?
They proved that with their fighting game, didn't they? Wasn't that like...
Kratos is basically their big character. Like, do you think it would be foolish for them not to have him star in God of War 4?
Kratos isn't likable though. Like, I think
Nope.
he's badass, but I don't think he's not a Nathan Drake that people are like, oh yeah, what a cool guy. I think people just think he's badass.
Yeah. I feel like...
And because that's what they're playing up in Uncharted 4. It's a thief's end. And you're like,
Yeah.
no, not Drake, no. Whereas like you wanted to see, Kratos topple Olympus. You wanted to see him take his dad down. You wanted to see him
Yeah.
get revenge for all of the horrible things these gods had done to him. And he did. And it's over, So the PSP games very smartly like picked other story elements, like did prequel stories. So they're like, we're not going to mess with what, the main trilogy is doing because that's like core trilogy. And they finished it and you're done.
Ascension really pushed like a multiplayer component, right?
Yes.
That was their big thing. I feel like the market's changed a lot now, and that's what people are looking for in their games, like how they can co-op and be in that. And so I don't know if story will necessarily be the biggest way to sell this game.
Go on.
just because like you guys are playing Dark Souls, or you guys are playing Bloodborne right now,
Right.
and you guys are excited about the game, but then you're all really excited to be playing with each other,
Okay.
correct? And I feel like there isn't that excitement for like a God of War 4 where it's like, oh, we can all play together in God of War 4. I don't know if there would be that.
I don't know. I mean, I think it would still have its excitement, but it's more and just the craziness of what happens. It's like the fact that you're controlling these big action scenes on top of backs of monsters and everything.
Yeah, but then like having Huber there next to you, how much greater would that be?
Well, I'd have to turn the volume down on my headset.
I think they'd have to either sell you on the multiplayer or Tomb Raider it.
What do you mean by Tomb Raider?
Like Tomb Raider is
Oh.
excellent in its story. You guys don't think so?
I love Tomb Raider.
And it gives you're not thinking like, oh, I wish I could play Tomb Raider with my buddies. You're just so immersed in that game. I
Right.
think God of War 4 would need to do that.
Except Tomb Raider actually did have a multiplayer that nobody played.
I know, but nobody cared, and it didn't detract to how people felt about the game.
That's a very good point, actually.
Like,
I think that game succeeded not off its multiplayer at all. I think it succeeded despite it.
I think there's a lot of people that forget that game has multiplayer.
Yeah.
yeah.
Except for what's weird is like every game has somebody at the top of its leaderboard. Like there is somebody who's at the top of the Tomb Raider leaderboard who is just grinding every day, fighting for that number one spot. If you're a listener, please let us know.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should make like Ben Moore become that.
Why poor Ben?
We'll train him. I don't know.
No,
Just
no,
something
no.
to do.
That's okay.
We should have a new show called like Leaderboard Bullying.
Yeah.
You just have
Okay.
somebody, that's like a generally skilled gamer, like a pro gamer, and just pick some like poor community that they just come in and just destroy.
That is
And it's
so
just like,
funny.
That is really
we
funny.
own your community now. It's like, go away. Let us
such
play
a
our
good
little,
idea.
like, simple mobile game. Like, why are you? It's just-
No, you take somebody who's like really good at Counter-Strike and you throw them into like Haze.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a NFL player just like walking onto like a kindergarten like dodgeball court, just bam, bam. Like
Yes.
I'd watch that.
That's a cool idea. All right, we'll get that
There you
green
go.
lit,
Yeah,
hopefully.
write that one down.
There you go, Hollywood. Free ideas, courtesy GT time. Next news story. Oh my God. I'm like, it's like a second shock every time I look at the news stories we have this week. Dragon Age Inquisition had DLC announced and released this week.
You're only doing that because you can hear it now.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I love being able to hear this. What is cool, what is actually interesting about the Dragon Age Inquisition DLC is that it was announced and released within 2 days. Just like announced, here it is, trailer, and now it's out. Go
Right.
download that.
Yes.
Brandon Jones said yes, like he loves that.
Love it.
Do you wish more? So like DLC, that's a proper thing announcement for
Yep.
DLC, you think? Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Because when you're buying a game, it's like Bloodborne. Like we were all prepped for Bloodborne. We knew when it was coming out. Super Smash Brothers. Like there are games specifically where it's like I know this is happening. GTA 5 on PC. Like PC gamers are ready. Like they know what that date is.
No, they
Arkham
don't. No,
Right.
they don't.
It does shift a little bit.
But I mean, every time it does shift, they cross it out and then write it back in on their calendar. So like
Yeah.
I know whatever is going to happen that day. If I have a friend that calls me and says, "Hey, what are you doing on April 15th or whatever?" And like, "Oh, wait, I can't hang out with you that day because GTA 5 is coming out." So that's me spending $40 to $60 on a major game. Not just saying, "Oh, that night I'm gonna check that out." Now the whole week, like maybe that month, like that's gonna be my game. Whereas I think DLC can potentially be an impulse purchase. Like you can play DLC that's like 3 or 4 hours and that's it. It can be an evening and you're done. Maybe like 2 days at max. So I think that's perfect. That if you see the trailer, it's in your head and you're like, "Oh, I want to." I talked about this sometime. I might have been on the show. Where you see it, or I think it was on Let's Look at the Trailers, because there was a DLC trailer that was a similar thing. So you see it, it's in your head, you go to work the next day, tell people, "Oh, did you notice the Dragon Age DLC was announced?" Like, "Oh, I'll go home tonight and check it out." And then that's it. Then like that DLC for Dragon Age, no one's gonna be talking about it next week. So if they release a trailer like, "Okay, we're just teasing what it is," and then the following week it's like, "Okay, it's out now," everyone's like, "Wouldn't that come out last week?" And it's like, no, that was like the announcement teaser. Now it's out. And if you just do this one media blast, you eliminate all the confusion. You put it, in everyone's
true.
conversation for that day.
No.
And then everybody goes and gets it and doesn't have to spend a lot of money on it. And they know that they're into it or not, depending on if they played Dragon Age or not. And that's just
Brandon,
simple.
I think you nailed it with 2 words: impulse purchase. I think that's 100% what the appeal is there. And I wish more DLC did that. You're right.
Which isn't a bad thing. I think there's just a lot of games that are announced that like we're not necessarily sure how to feel about right off the bat. Whereas like I just feel deep down if you want to play Dragon Age single player or not. Andrea Renee on Twitter lost her mind in all caps. She was like, "What Dragon Age? What single? What today?" And so she immediately went home that night, played it. I'm assuming.
So was there no like pre-order period for season passes or DLC for this whatsoever?
I don't know. There's probably a season pass.
I think there might be a season pass. I'm not sure if this is included,
But you
to be honest.
just didn't know any information about when the DLC would be or what would it be.
Right. Yeah.
Life is Strange was the game we were talking about. And I think something like Game of Thrones and Life is Strange, it's smart for them not to have like tons of trailers. Like they just had one trailer for episode 2 and it came out the day before you could buy it.
It was
And
perfect.
It's just like, hey, everybody, it's tomorrow. And you're like, oh, thanks, cool, all right.
It was perfect.
I woke up not thinking about Life is Strange, but now I'm thinking about it.
I almost didn't want to watch the trailer because I'm like, I'm just gonna play this in a couple
Right,
days.
right.
Like I'd rather
Yeah.
I'll see it clean, but it's fresh in my mind that I'll be able to buy it soon.
Well, yeah, that's a hard thing because with DLC in general, because it's so short, like anything you show, it's like, well, this is kind of almost showing the whole thing, and you can't always get around it. It's like you have to show what's different, and sometimes what's different is the only thing that's appealing about it.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about the other interesting thing about this DLC, the less positive part. What is it named, by the way? Hakon? I didn't write it down.
Yeah, it's like the something fate of
Hakon.
Hakor or Hakon or something.
I don't know.
Or like the land or the
Hakon
mustache of
is
Hakon or
the
something.
Turkish oil wrestler in Street Fighter. Just more trivia. I have it. Jaws of Hakon.
Oh, right.
There it is. So anyway, Jaws of Hakon right now can only be played on an Xbox One and a PC, and we do not know when it will come to any other platform. This is unusual because we've seen like Xbox family, PlayStation family exclusives. To cut off even the Xbox 360 is very unusual. And I have a theory. I want to run it by everybody here. I think it's because of EA Access. I think they're trying to push that real hard. EA Access like gives you a deal on like DLC from EA games and things like that. Do you think this is like EA's pushing Xbox One this hard because it wants more people to support EA Access?
I think that's a pretty sound theory.
Does EA Access do anything for your DLC?
Do you get a discount?
Yeah,
or
you get
anything?
like discounted DLC through EA Access. How crazy is that? Just a huh? So not that crazy, is that what you're saying?
I
don't
think
know.
you could be right. It's just not. I don't know how you would expound upon that.
Well, so
it's like,
Brandon, if you want a
We're
PlayStation
never gonna
4,
know if that's the decision they made.
if you want a PlayStation 4 and you play Dragon Age Inquisition on PlayStation 4, you have no idea when this DLC is coming.
Right.
But
But I think the DLC, I mean, this isn't necessarily the point that you were getting at, but I think DLC is a little easier to swallow if you don't have access to it via whatever console is your console of choice, versus like a full game. You know, like if Dragon Age came out and like I had a PS4 and couldn't play it, and all my friends were playing it and talking about it, whereas like DLC, it's like I don't think you're like really going to be outside of many conversations that you would otherwise be a part of.
I don't know. I mean,
That'll sting as much.
if you're in the other situation where you actually do have both systems and you bought the game for the wrong system unknowingly, then that's kind of a pain in the butt.
the one flaw I would see is that if they were trying to push EA Access, they would have announced the DLC a month ago and encouraged people to buy EA Access so that they could get in advance, and that kind of negates them just dropping it out of nowhere. 'Cause
You're
they're
right,
not
yeah.
they're not pushing EA Access with that.
You're right. Even in the announcement, it's not like EA Access is mentioned at all.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, but there also is that kind of last minute thing where like if they do something that quick, then it's already happened and you're past it, and you have people being like, oh man,
yeah.
I missed that. I should belong to EA Access. Because if I was, I would have been there at that
I don't know
moment.
who that
That's
person
true.
is.
Well, it's like insurance, you know. It's like you don't have insurance
Yeah.
and you get in a car accident. You're like, and it's like it's too late.
No, you get arrested. What do you mean?
No, but I mean, or fine, like dental insurance or whatever.
Sure,
you know,
yeah,
and,
yeah,
like
yeah.
you have an emergency, and you're like, oh, I wish last week I should have signed up for EA insurance.
It wasn't. No, what's weird is like everyone loves EA Access.
Everyone?
Yeah, isn't that bizarre?
Who's everyone?
The people who buy it. Sorry, people who pay for EA Access love EA Access.
Well, I would hope so.
does anyone in the office have it that we know of?
No.
Ian, you got it?
Absolutely not.
Wait, why? Absolutely not.
I don't know. Because they don't make any games I care about.
Yeah, but I just think that you're like such an Xbox One fan that this would really help you out with all of your EA purchases.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
At Christmas, I'll get you a little EA Access gift.
Oh,
You
thanks.
would have had what? Was it like a 2 hours of the Battlefield campaign or something
That's a
like that?
huge. Honestly, that's a huge deal. I don't think that's worth gritting about. I think that's honestly like 2 weeks before launch. That's awesome.
It's weird.
Yay.
Yay.
We're so,
Yeah.
we're so mean. We're so mean.
I don't know. I don't want to
man.
start a game and then be like, oh, my 2 hours are up. I guess I'll wait until next week.
Yeah, you do get to keep your save file at least. You know what I mean? At least you have that. But I get what you mean. I get that. I think it just feels special. It definitely feels special to play a game before it comes out. And for that reason, whatever you pay for EA Access is hard to monetize because how do you measure what in dollars and cents specialness?
You can't.
You can't do that. It feels so good
Disney
to feel
found
special.
a way.
Right.
Disney knows how.
So what is it? It's over $100 to feel special now, right?
Well, but it's also weird because like when Rockstar made the Social Club, I was like, yep, and I signed up like immediately. I'm like, I don't care what this gets me or what ties into what. Yes, I'm down. And like every time Uplay pops up, I'm just like, no, go away.
Wait, so are you in Rockstar Social Club right now?
Yeah, since like the,
Well, I
the
think-
day
What do you
it
do?
came out. You can just socially you can set up a lot of so like if you get achievements in the game, it automatically filters into your Rockstar account. So that when I was playing like Max Payne or when I was playing Red Dead, like I could see like who'd completed what quest and like who had what items and what like the stats of what people are doing.
Did you ever care?
I cared with Red Dead. I remember Red Dead coming out and being really happy that like my multiplayer stats were better than other people.
I had that on Red Dead as well. That
Even
was the
Ian.
one.
I
That was
never-
the one.
It never worked 100% of the time, but
But that's not a paid service. It's just
right, yeah. So that would be the difference. But it just struck me that I mean neither is Uplay, and for some reason and I love like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and all this stuff. So like why wouldn't I immediately jump into that? But I guess I love Rockstar a little bit more.
The Crew is doing a new thing where it's like, oh, you can play the first 2 hours for free or something.
oh, they're putting out a demo, yeah.
And then if you choose to purchase it, you can carry over your progress.
I think that's sick. I
It
think
is
that's
kinda smart.
I think that's really cool, and especially for a game that's been out for 2 months, did not get great reviews. It's not that special of a game in itself. It's cool to just let people try it, and if they do like it, you know what's funny is like just giving a person 2 hours of your game makes them like you more, and they're going to like that game more just because like, hey, this was such a nice thing that I got to play 2 hours of this game. They're I think much more likely to buy it.
So would you like Shigeru Miyamoto more if he gave you 2 hours of his game?
Yeah, that man would never do that.
The one I liked, I think it was Saints Row, where they put out the character creator first. I
That's
like it when people
awesome.
do that.
That's a
and then
really
you
cool
can
idea.
keep your character when you get the game. It's like 2 weeks early or whatever.
Because on Bloodborne night, I spent probably 40 minutes working on
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I
characters.
spent a solid hour.
Like, yeah, a long time.
I was saving
And
multiples. I had like multiple I was trying to pick between.
Love that.
I didn't even do
function.
anything special or creative. I was just like, what happens with this? There's just so many gradient things.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's like
The best thing with those is that you spend so long and they still look ugly as hell. Those characters,
monsters.
man, I love their character creators.
Waxy,
so
waxy
bad.
monsters.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, but
the
if,
nose was the hardest part for me. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, what,
my nose.
what's going
I
on with the
took
nose?
forever.
if they gave us 2 weeks, we'd all have sick characters when that game starts. They should more games should do that. That's a really good example, Ian. Thank you. That's awesome.
One of Destiny's shortcomings was not allowing you to carry over your progress from the beta.
Well, that you have to do that because beta is like
Yeah.
none of that XP is real. It's all weapons and stuff you got in an unreal world that isn't real.
I know, but so many people sunk so much time into that beta, and then
They knew what they were getting into.
Yeah,
they
that's
should have
true.
known. What I like is like if you're in the beta, you get like an item. Like here you go, you get this for being in the beta. Thank you for
An
joining us.
aesthetic item. It was pointless.
Yeah. Oh wait, did you actually get something?
Yeah.
Oh.
You got like an emblem. It was like an emblem for your name plate or whatever.
That is more than anyone deserves.
I mean, what they should have done is made a game that was enjoyable to continue
Okay,
playing.
we should move on.
Oh,
While we're doing personal opinions, let's do one of my favorite segments, Water Cooler Ranch. This is where discussions that happened around the office are
Just
now.
imagine like a field with wooden fences and just water coolers mooing and
I was thinking like a
Moving around.
flavor of chips. It's like water cooler
Ew.
ranch.
refreshing.
So if we want to spell out the play on words, that is exactly it. It's a water cooler and the Doritos chip cooler ranch put
okay.
together.
We can't talk about Doritos at this company.
We can't talk about no.
It's
It's
too sensitive.
the flavor's too strong.
they don't even call it Cooler Ranch anymore. Doritos fans know it's gone back to Cool Ranch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
What happened?
Capri
I only
Sun?
know this because I get the Cool
Wow.
Ranch tacos from Taco Bell.
Yeah. It used to be nacho cheesier and cooler ranch for I think almost 10 years.
Whoa, this is the
Yeah.
first I've ever heard of this.
Yeah, me too. Maybe not in Canada.
Y'all
Man,
need to brush up on your
I just
Doritos.
open those bags and put those in my mouth, and I don't think about anything. Terrible.
Like, let's be honest, Doritos are the best food, right? So
I really wish this was
And Mountain
sponsored
Dew.
right now.
This is a
Because
real.
otherwise
this is
it's
a weird
really,
episode.
really weird.
Me
I
too.
wanna-
GT
Quiet,
time.
you. Hush.
can I tell you my
Sorry,
dream?
sorry.
Hey, if you're like a local pizza place, like I want to be sponsored by a pizza place so bad. Like a soccer team. I don't want to ever
We
be
had
like
Papa John's.
I don't want Papa John's.
No, it's gotta be like Giuseppe's.
I want Marcello's.
The Coop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be
Over by my
sponsored
house.
like GT Time, sponsored by Marcello's. On Robertson. That's what I want. That's my dream.
Walk down there and ask them.
Yeah.
I
That's how
kind
you-
of think this is not the target audience.
That's how you make your dreams come true, Kyle.
I'm sorry, what is not the target audience?
How many people in the comments below are actually watching from Beverly Hills? I mean, what is?
Everybody
what
likes
good does that do
pizza,
anyway?
blood.
Yeah, more people listen to the show than are at a soccer game. You know what I mean? Like, they'd still get some people.
Depends on the soccer.
It's
game.
a
meant
little
to
bit
be
more. It
cocky
makes more
here.
sense for an international brand.
Nobody wants to sponsor your
Somebody that's down the
podcast,
corner.
Kyle.
Just because it's a slow news week, Kyle, doesn't mean GT time has to be slow as well.
I like it. I like us getting off the rails. So what I want to talk about is
On the
Yukimura.
rails.
Yukimura is the update 2.5 for the PlayStation 4.
Oh yeah, I had that installed this morning, and then I didn't understand how to turn off my PS4.
Really?
Where you can't turn it off anymore because of suspend.
No, 'cause
That's
It's like in a sub menu.
No, what? Yeah.
You go to the menu, and then you have to go to another menu, and then it's there.
It has like two options. One's like power off options or something like that.
Okay.
And then you go to that, and it just kind of gives you the same menu that you had.
Yeah,
Is
but
after you
it's-
hold down the central?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you hold that down, but then you instead of it being right there on that screen, it's now under a power options menu, and then you turn it off.
I had no problems, Blowworth.
When did the update roll out? I updated this morning and I didn't have to.
I
do
updated
that.
this morning. It was the smoothest update ever. So fast, and no problem turning off. I'm sorry, I had no problem turning off.
It's not that I had a problem turning it off. It was just like
Sounds like
this
you had
is
a
an
problem.
Did it just-
extra
Did it
step.
just throw you
I
for a
didn't
loop?
notice a
This is an
difference.
extra
That's
clip.
weird.
Click for no good reason.
I can appreciate that.
you can appreciate what?
It's an extra step.
Well, they don't want you to power it off. They want you to keep your PlayStation on.
Yeah.
Always in rest mode.
Yeah.
Except they want you to turn it off when you unplug it because otherwise you corrupt your hard drive.
A regular person in regular world doesn't
you
take their
never turn it
PlayStation
off.
4 to work. You know what I mean? They just keep it plugged in all day. We
There's
gotta
parties.
We gotta remember the normal
There's
people.
parties.
No. Oh God.
Rest
Who's-
mode all the time.
I feel like there are 5 PlayStation 4s this weekend that will be moved for a party. I think that is the total number.
You don't even go to parties. You have a no party policy.
I've got a no party policy.
Oh my God.
Largely for this reason. I go to parties, there's no PS4 there. Nobody's bringing a PS4 to this party. I'm out.
And you're not going to turn yours off.
Yeah.
I'm never. No.
So you're not
I
gonna
only
bring
go to
your own.
parties of people who own their own PS4 and it's already there.
That's what I mean, Blood. If you're hosting a party, you already have a PS4. You're not
I
unplugging
have
it.
Because you're cool.
Taking
Yeah.
bags of consoles to various things. Yeah. So I don't know.
All right. Well, I'm saying a normal person is not going to have to unplug their PS4 too many times.
I just imagine Santa Bloodworth. The sack.
I actually had to split it up because I realized that I can fit all these into one suitcase, but I can't actually carry the suitcase when I do that.
That's dangerous, Blood. You got to take care of
What
consoles,
parties are you
man.
going to, man? What is this?
Yeah. What are these parties,
I've
man?
taken consoles to parties before.
All right. What party did you take a
The
console
last
to?
time we did a rock band thing. We brought all of our rock band stuff,
yeah.
Ion
Uh-huh.
drum kit,
Because you had all your DLC on the console as well.
had all the
probably.
DLC,
Yeah.
all the instruments.
Did
And
it-
then I end up bringing Wii U places a lot just because people don't own it. But
Oh,
then it's like,
yeah.
let's play a party game on the
Yeah.
Wii U.
You're
Well,
part
they
of
want
the
to play Mario
problem.
Kart. You know.
What's up?
You're part of the problem. Nintendo would be making way more money if people could bring in their Wii U's around.
Way more than Nintendo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to those guys?
Maybe if you
Nintendo.
got a Wii U, Ian.
If they put out a Metroid, I'll get a Wii U.
We're gonna hold you to that
That'd be
because
very
they're
good.
I'll
going
do
to.
it. Hold me to it.
All right, we're holding them to it. You heard it here first on GT Time. Once it's announced, please tweet at Ian Hink at the very announcement of a Metroid game and tell him.
I made this tweet. I made this bargain during Game Awards. I was like, if this announcement is a
Yeah.
Metroid, I will go on Amazon and buy a Wii U right now.
All right, we need to see the screen cap within a half hour of the announcement of your purchase order.
I really want my
Okay,
theory
deal.
to be
All right,
correct.
deal.
Maybe Nintendo will send you a Wii U because you're an influencer.
That would be fine too.
All I want is Marcello's to send us a pizza. I don't like.
You just want free pizza now.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Yukimura. We got so off
Sorry.
track there. The conversation Blood and I were having is about naming it Yukimura. Do you know what I mean? Like even like naming your update seems. So I'm all for it. Blood thinks it's stupid. I think it's like it makes it like a very special. Again, we're putting a price on special. I think it makes it feel special if you're downloading Yukimura, even though it like does nothing. You know, you get to rearrange your buttons and get 2 menus to turn off your console.
It's got to be an eternal thing. Because you can't. What's the actual number? Do you have any idea?
2.50.
Yep.
Yeah, I just think 2.5. I guess 2.5 is not that bad.
It sounds really good. 2.5.
Sort of makes me feel like Apple naming iOSs, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Like this is our mountain lion.
This is our mountain lion.
Do you have
Yukimura.
the breakdown of what all is in there?
I
Because
do.
there are some cool features.
I do have the breakdown. What do you think is cool about the new features?
I mean, they're just interesting to me because I mean, they're not things I would necessarily use, but
Oh, you know what's actually really cool?
suspend resume is actually kind of cool.
You were just complaining about it 2 minutes ago.
How was I complaining about
You're
it?
like, whenever I turn off my console, I have to hit 2 things now.
Not having the power off thing right on the menu and going to a separate menu is not the same thing as.
I think it is. I think it's related because they want you to just suspend your console. They don't want you to power it off anymore.
But yeah, so basically with suspend resume, like it just puts your game into like a safe state, so you don't have to boot the game.
It's like closing your 3DS, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Love
That's exactly what it is.
Also, delete your trophies for games that you don't have trophies for is awesome.
Sorting the trophies, actually, that is when I was, because you know, like sometimes when you like miss that window for the pop-up when the trophy pops up, and it's like, wait,
Yeah.
what was that trophy? Mm-hmm. And then like you're scanning through, but they're all in like alphabetical order or something, and like I don't know which one I just got. Like you can now sort them by the date that you earned them and some other ways. So like you can see what those last couple of trophies were that you just got that day. What else was on here? Backup to hard drive, I guess, is all right.
But this, no way. Like these are all stupid little, minute, boring things. that we're
I
talking
still
about.
don't understand. They say that remote play and share play are now 60 frames per second. How?
They're not. That's,
How-
a lie.
yeah. It's automatically going to install system updates now if you want. So
That's a big deal. That's
Yeah,
actually
that's a
sick.
big deal.
That's a cool
really
one.
good.
That's the worst thing is like you turn on your PS4 or whatever and it's like you can't play any games now because you didn't update, or you can't look at your friends list because you didn't update.
Yeah, I mean the PS3 could do that as well, though. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's a little behind, but it's good it's happening.
So before we move on, though, I want to hear the panel's impression. Do you like the name Yukimura? Do you think they should not give names to updates? Elise, you don't like Yukimura, I can
Just
tell.
whatever.
It's whatever.
I don't know. I guess I don't care either way.
Would you prefer it to be Mountain Lion?
No, I like that it has a Japanese name.
Okay.
I wish that we knew like the story behind it though. What is this?
Yeah, I think that's the
didn't
problem.
Say, right?
I'm not sure they said. We Googled it.
Oh, I thought that there was an article that gave a little bit of an explanation as to where Yukimura came from.
Oh,
I wish I had
cool.
seen that.
Name or are those just words?
It is a last name. Yukimura
Oh, okay.
is a frequently used last name.
But so is Sakura, and that means something too.
It means cherry blossom.
Yeah.
Oh, very nice, Elise.
Thank you. I think it does.
Yeah.
Sucks for anybody who works at Sony named Yukimura.
I think it's like
They
a
go
kind
in
of
like,
flower.
did you get that email about Yukimura? It's like, in accounting? Like, no, the 2.5, the update. Like, oh, okay. You just got to set that up.
Poor Yukimura. Just overlooked time and again in the name of software updates.
Maybe it was intentionally named after a Yukimura that worked there.
to spite
Maybe.
him.
In memory of, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like hurricanes.
You know, I'd be so bummed. All right, if I'm a Sony employee, I die, and the thing that I'm named after is an update of 2.5.
Not even 3.
Yeah. It's like he really wanted those buttons to be rearranged. We should name it after him. So let's move on to. Well, you're the one who started this conversation.
Okay.
This, of course, is the segment in which we pull comments from you, the viewers and listeners, about what we should talk about this week. For the first time ever, the reactions I got, I felt like I was shouting at you. You looked at me like, what did I do wrong?
I love it.
It's these headphones.
I love when you do crazy
It's
stuff.
weird.
This is a crazy show. GT Time's crazy.
Slow down, GT time.
This is from the Banana Forklift Killer. Have you ever given up something important in life to play a video game? for instance, I once didn't turn up to a job interview because it was the same day as Uncharted 3's release date. In parentheses, though I'm glad I did because it was a crap job anyway. However, like, man, you go to every interview. You got to go to every interview. That's one thing I learned in life. You go to every interview. Even if you don't want the job, you go to the interview. You show up. Have any of you done anything so wrong?
Well, that sounds almost like a planned thing. You just like, oh, well, no, I'm not going to do that. Whereas I definitely have the unplanned story. Probably the best, most extreme story was when Ocarina of Time came out, and it was one of those things. Well, I'm just gonna go and just keep playing until I do this. I'm just gonna keep playing to this. I'm gonna keep playing until I get the horse, and and then I played through the entire night. The problem is that night was the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. And so I had to stay awake and cook a turkey and everything else. And not sleep until that evening or afternoon or something.
Did you tell anybody at the Thanksgiving table? Were there any
I'm
games
pretty sure
fans around that would understand?
Well, there wasn't really any game. Like, it was just my mom's friends or something like that.
Wait, did the turkey get burnt?
Oh, the turkey was fine. I was just, dead
Just
tired.
a hard night for blood.
I gotta say, you started that by saying it was the most extreme story. That's not what I expected. Just having to cook a turkey later was.
Have you ever cooked a turkey, Ian?
Turkey was fine.
Oh, I've cooked a turkey. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, it was either cook the turkey or his turkey got cooked.
Whoa.
So he had to step up. Did you finish the game that weekend though?
I don't know how long I took to finish the game.
Oh.
I remember one time in college, I was playing Metroid Prime 3, and I feel like I had 4 roommates at the time. And everyone's planning to go out to a movie. And it's like, what movie? They didn't know yet. And then I turned around and they were gone. And then I just sadly played Metroid Prime 3 for the rest of the night.
That's a story about you, not the video game.
I am Scrooge. Like, I am Ebenezer Scrooge. That was like my moment where I just like turn around and like they're all dancing all the way to the movie theater. I'm just like, oh, well, I guess I'll keep playing this game.
No party policy. That PS4 is going to be on suspend for a long time. It is.
Oh my gosh.
Brandon, what have you ever given up? Something important in your life?
Nothing comes to mind, but I did get almost severely in trouble for producing a feature that was video game related for GameTrailers, and that was the Final Fantasy retrospective. Almost ruined my soon-to-be marriage.
Really?
Because I had planned it and worked out a timeline and was like, oh, I'll finish it by that date. And I kept pushing back and pushing back. And the final episode of the Final Fantasy retrospective, 13 parts, I published to the site, got in my car, sprinted home, and was 20 minutes late for my rehearsal dinner.
Oh my God, Brandon.
Wow.
Oh my god.
So I literally opened up the door to my house and like everybody I know, like all my relatives, all my close friends, everybody's like, okay, we can go now. And I'm just like, sorry.
And you're some weird maniac who's just like, I'm sorry, I had to do a Final Fantasy
retro
retrospective.
feature. And it was just like,
Because
it's
yeah,
like,
Did you even try to explain what you were doing
Yeah.
to anybody? They
no.
wouldn't get it.
No, it was
Yeah.
just like,
yeah,
like,
yeah. Normal people have no idea. That like try to explain our jobs to anybody that's not familiar with the industry. And it's like, what do? You make video games? You test video games? No, that's not.
Everyone thinks I make video game
too.
trailers.
Yeah.
I don't tell them otherwise. I've never done anything like. I guess I've been with friends before where we're like playing Mario Kart and then we're like, let's just not go do what we're gonna go. What we were planning to do. Let's just stay and do this instead. I know I have a couple friends though that like relationships ended because two female friends of mine in separate relationships ended because of World of Warcraft, like just negligence.
Oh,
I'm sorry, they were
like the
neg-
Rob
they were the
Slusser
negligent-
story.
They were negligent to their boyfriends.
Wow.
And yeah, I got a dog. I got responsibilities. I can't do that.
You can't play World of Warcraft?
No.
I'm not gonna do it.
I feel
I've
bad for those
definitely-
girls. What's up, Ian?
I was just gonna say I've definitely forgotten to eat.
Yeah.
Before,
Yeah.
like that kind of stuff.
And
That's pretty
Dave.
extreme for
That's
Ian.
very dangerous, by the
Oh
way.
yeah.
I've skipped showers.
Oh, we've all skipped showers. If that was the question,
Every
we'd get
day.
1,000 hands
But
up.
it's really scary when like the second hunger wave happens.
Yeah.
Because you'll be like hungry and you're like, I should really eat something, and then it goes away. And
Yeah.
then you're like not hungry, and then you get
And then
hungry
you start
again,
shaking.
and that second wave is not
And
friendly.
you're like, what are these strange new powers?
Yeah.
I actually.
But they're not.
I can't stand.
What's funny is, so I got 5, I think. Civ 4 or Civ 5, I don't remember which one.
There's a pill for that.
I thought it was Civ.
Yeah.
Something.
But anyways, I got that on a free Steam weekend, and it's hilarious because I actually never played it again after that weekend, even though I bought it afterwards because I felt like I owed them their money after I'd played it for so long. But that was one of those games where I got locked into place for so long that like I ended up feeling physically sick and I had to lay down. And then I laid down long enough to not feel sick, and then I got back and started playing again.
You did the bare minimum required so that you could return to what you were doing. That's
That
excellent.
was a very extreme story just now.
While we're sharing our extreme stories, I think it's time for some extreme bets. Let's do some bets. Let's make some bets at the end of our show. Here's what's happening. This weekend, we'll see the release of a game that's free for 2 weeks. It's an expansion. It's called Forza Horizon 2 Presents Fast and Furious. It's like a weird standalone Fast and Furious themed Forza Horizon 2 game. I think this is awesome. That releases this weekend. What will the download size be? How many gigs? Or I mean, if you want to go there, terabytes. How big will this be? It's my turn to go first or last. I'm gonna go last on this. This one I really don't know.
Man. All right. People are gonna feed off of me.
Who's first?
You?
Me?
Yeah.
That makes you first.
That makes
Why
you
am I
first.
first.
You're first because I'm throwing the seat over to you. I'm throwing the onus.
It's 3.5.
Okay.
Oh, never mind.
I'm sorry. 3.5 terabytes.
Gig.
Okay.
10.4.
10.4 gigabytes.
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon Jones.
What's that smirk? Did you look it up? Was it like on some site somewhere?
No, I didn't. I just the one that's coming. It's not on some site somewhere.
All right. Blood in his research.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna go 1.1, but now I'm not feeling good about that at all.
It's got a lot. It's got a lot. It's gonna think of like voice acting and things.
2. 2's as high as I'm gonna go. I don't think it's gonna be that big.
Okay. I'll go 10.5.
Oh gosh.
So I can tell you guys now.
I knew it.
I went and I
Kyle
looked-
and Huber, they don't bet anything of their own. They just go off of each other or somebody else.
Well, hold on. Let me lock those in before you
Okay.
make your comment, at least. Okay. What's up?
So I went to check out what Forza Horizon 2's last expansion was.
Sure.
To just compare. I feel
Storm
like
Island, yeah.
I feel like this will be bigger,
Mhm.
but I still tried to be conservative.
At least you did research. That's awesome.
Yeah. The trick with Storm Island
like cheating.
is that it's adding on to what's already
Yeah.
there, whereas
Yeah.
this is a standalone.
Yeah.
Standalone.
And the demo is 10.4.
Okay.
Ooh, then never mind.
So I just won a bet.
Yeah, you did.
Let's talk about last week's bets. Last week we bet on Bloodborne. How many ratings it would have on the PlayStation Store. For reference, Knack had 3,600 at the time.
Which was just a bad reference for me to go off of. I should have looked at a different number because that's got to be low.
You might be surprised. Okay, so let's go through what everybody bets. Blood bet 3,000. He said less than Knack. Jones said 2.5. I said 5,000. And in the super seats, I think we had Matt Blair last week. He bet, what did he bet? Oh, 12,000 people would rate Bloodborne. How many ratings it would have on the PlayStation Store. The actual answer of number of ratings for Bloodborne on the PlayStation Store is 3,266.
Nice.
I was close though.
Brandon, you were winning last night. So last night when I was doing the rundown, it was right on you. And then for some reason, like 1,000 people rated that game overnight.
For some reason, they watched GT Time.
I guess so, yeah. No, this is last night. This is like over the course of 8 hours. That many people rated the game. So, it's probably by the time this airs, another 1,000 onto that. But that's not how the game's played. That's another point for Daniel Bloodworth, bringing his total to 5. Damn. The Super Seat has 4 points. Brandon Jones 1. Kyle Bossman 2 points.
I'm starting to be really concerned about something.
What are you getting concerned about?
Bloodworth is very intelligent.
Okay.
Okay.
But
And most of the time it works out well for me, but man, sometimes it just brings me down.
You gotta decide.
You know what I mean?
You gotta
No,
decide.
I'm sorry. What do you mean? You said you're concerned about something.
I don't know. I just kind of have this really, sometimes it's just happy-go-lucky approach to life, where it's just you just kind of go through and experience things. You know, it's like, oh, there's a new experience. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's not blood. Blood's very calculated. And it's like, no, I'm only gonna do this because I know exactly the outcome, and I did it. And there, moving on. And ultimately, I feel that he's living his life better than I'm living mine.
Oh,
I think
whoa,
I'm
that's-
just.
We're both here till like midnight every night. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a different issue entirely.
You think because Bloodworth bets differently on GT time that he has a better life than you have?
You say bets differently. What are you, 5 now? What are you, 5 up?
Yeah.
And I've won?
Yeah.
That's a clear performance gap right there.
The Super
I'm
Seed's doing
clearly
pretty
doing
well,
something
too,
way
though.
wrong.
Brandon, you were only 8 hours away from winning this bet. Do you know what I mean? It was
we-
actually that close.
We've already established there's no way I'm winning next week's bet. So I'm just going down the wrong road in life is what I'm getting at. I just need to change that.
So here's what I would
Completely
do.
change my approach.
Brandon, you have a great seat in being right after Bloodworth. Like, it's time to play dirty. It's time to respond to what he bets. Like,
All right.
you,
Yeah,
like you
really.
have the after the Bloodworth seat. It's time to just be strategic about that.
You just
Right.
call me Breadworth again?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are Breadworth officially. So Daniel Breadworth, what you have earned, along with your point, is the right to close out the show, and not only that, the right to promote any video you choose on this website.
Yeah. Well, I got to, was that last week? Man, I can't keep track of the weeks anymore. At some point in time, I think it was last week, I got to go to Nintendo, which is the first time I've done that in like 10 years.
What does it mean to go to Nintendo?
Actually, up to Redmond, Washington, to their headquarters. We got a tour of the building, which you are completely forbidden to take any photos of any kind after you get past the front desk.
Why is there a lot of like freaky rust and stuff around it?
No, they actually designed this whole building, and it's like some kind of weird energy efficient rating. It's got like a living roof, and they're cooling it with the outside Seattle air and all of that kind of thing.
Oh, so it's like this is a technical marvel, and they don't want you spoiling their secrets.
Not wanting you to spoil the secrets is the main thing, but it's weird because they have cool, like they have the Mario Kart, like the one that whoever built that actually runs and stuff in there. They've got some other things. They've got the Nintendo employee store, of course. But yeah, for whatever reason, just normal, company security, you can't take any photos anywhere unless you're like in that approved space.
What about if I'm Reggie Fils-Aimé?
Oh, I'm sure he can do whatever. And actually, we saw a lot of places that were like in Nintendo Directs and stuff, like the conference rooms and that kind of thing.
So like he was driving around in the go-kart and taking pictures all over the place?
No, he did come down and talk to us about the
Really?
NX, just to say, we're not going to talk about the NX because you're here to play Splatoon.
Can I be honest, Bloodworth? I heard you say Reggie came down before, and what I was imagining is like crystal stairs.
To his ivory tower.
Yeah, and he,
that
like-
descends from.
He's like, the NX is announced, and he kind of like shrugs his shoulders, and then he like, okay, time to go talk to the press, and he like slowly walks down his crystal stairs. Is this accurate?
No, but they have bamboo floors.
See, these are the secrets. They have bamboo floors.
Yeah, it's more
Real bamboo?
it's more green because bamboo grows so quickly.
Yeah, well, like carpet doesn't grow. Like, what do you mean it's more green?
Well, it's a replenishable. It's easy to replenish. Like you're not like chopping down a tree that's going to take.
Greener than other
20,
kinds
yeah.
of wood, Bossman.
Okay.
But anyways, I just assumed that his office would be not on the first floor. I could be wrong about that.
Okay. No, I mean, we've seen his office in videos. When he's talking about Zelda, he's always like, he's got a window and he's got toys behind him.
Yeah.
He's like, I love Zelda.
So all that to say, I did a preview first Splatoon. I got to play it for 4 or 5 hours or so, and get yelled at a lot as I was playing as Janet. And so the only thing people could really do on Twitter that night was to complain about Janet because they couldn't talk about the game yet. So that was fun.
No, explain that. What are people saying about Janet?
They were saying words that I don't use.
They were probably saying, damn it, Janet.
That was an exact thing. That was yelled many, many times over the course of the day.
I'm sorry, because you're good or because you're bad? And goofing
Because
off?
I was killing them.
And they would say, damn it, Janet.
Yeah. And they didn't know, it was guys from here, from Smosh and Warp Zone, but they didn't know it was me at first until about halfway through. And they were like, who's Janet? Who's Janet? I'm like, it's me and this other guy. Because we were taking turns, because there wasn't enough stations for everybody.
Oh, so you shared Janet with
Yeah, I was about 60%
another man.
Janet.
with another man.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, it's time
And
to wrap things up.
uneducated cinema swine like you has no idea what Damn It Janet is a reference to, do you, Kyle?
No, I just thought it was a funny rhyme.
Nope.
Ian, what are you referencing?
I don't know. I just know the phrase.
You don't know what Damn It Janet is from?
I will once you tell me.
It's a song.
Oh,
Damn it,
right,
Janet,
right.
I love you. Here's the ring to prove. Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep, I knew
The
that.
character's
I knew that.
name, man. Come on.
I remember I watched Rocky Horror Picture Show in college, and it's just like it's creepy because like the film school kids put it on, and they get so
Oh, they
into like
love
the
it.
costumes.
They love it so much.
It really gave me the heebie-jeebies. Brandon, there's nothing I remember. I don't want to see that movie ever again.
I've always been
Heebie-jeebies
partial to
achieved.
Little Shop. Little Shop.
Art House Theaters show it all the time.
I think I'd like Cats if I ever saw it.
Yeah, we could all go to the new
Cats
art
isn't a
tonight.
movie yet.
Probably.
Oh,
Newsies is in town. Let's go see Newsies.
Avenue Q is
I do
here.
wanna see
and I was,
Newsies.
that's,
Avenue Q is the
That's
bomb.
probably my biggest mistake is that I didn't get tickets to Avenue Q when I should have.
So go see Avenue Q and then watch the Splatoon preview.
I feel like Avenue Q is easy jokes. It's like, hey, let's make a song about STDs and have a puppet sing it. It's like, yeah, great, funny jokes.
Have you seen it?
No.
Have you actually seen the entire show?
Brandon,
Shut your mouth.
Kyle's never seen anything.
guess how many musicals I've seen that I liked?
Oh no.
0.
One.
Mandatory update, Bloodborne
Is
musical.
it a trick?
Yeah.
Oh, eh?
One.
1776.
All right.
Oh, God.
Did that work? Was that obscure enough?
No, I know that's a good movie.
So
the voice
here-
of Kit from
here
Knight Rider
are,
is John Adams in that film.
Our Twitter handles. We're saying them out loud now, right? You're at Elise Willems.
Oh yeah.
That's at Ian Hink over there in the booth.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm at D Bloodworth 2.
Two.
Yeah, D
Not
Bloodworth.
one.
Well, D Bloodworth 1 has apologized and is shutting down his account, which I kind of feel
Oh,
bad
really?
about, but not
Apparently
at the
Buttons
same
is
time.
shutting down his account. I don't know how credible that is.
Brandon's at GameTrailers VO. Kyle is just at Kyle Bosman, and
Just.
leave us comments. Tell us how terrible we are or whatever, and we'll see you next week.
I love.